you were in LA for a little bit.
I was, yes.
And you're an executive assistant for a lot of, what was it, agencies?
Yeah, so I started at William Morris Endeavor.
Okay.
They've changed their name like a million times now. I think now it's like WME IMG. And then at Lionsgate. So
is it as much as I think it is, like Entourage?
Yes, it is exactly like Entourage.
Okay.
So the head of WME is literally Ari from
it's Ari.
Entourage. Like,
yeah, okay.
His name is Ari Emanuel, and he is actually like way worse than Ari in the show Entourage.
So, nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
That could be a good like podcast series or something someday, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually talking to my friend who's another sports reporter, Breland Moore, about this at dinner the other night. Like, that was my first job out of college, which in hindsight, like, bold move by me. Yeah. But I think it made, like, I'm not afraid of anything, and I haven't been because of that. Like, I'm like, oh, you think you can scare me? I literally worked for Ari Emanuel. Like, nothing can scare me anymore. Yeah. So it kind of helped me cut my teeth in that way. Is definitely an interesting start to my professional career.
Yeah, that's cool. My start was working overnights in Georgia, and the only people in the newsroom for me to talk to were the custodians. So we had quite a different,
Well, I did eventually make my way to the small market in Boise, Idaho. So I didn't do overnights, but
inevitably we all end up in the middle of nowhere. So yeah.
I got to ask you one more thing. The statute of limitations is off from your time as an executive assistant. You got to give one story. You don't have to name any names. Could it be a famous person, an athlete, maybe even an agent? But I know you got one. You got to give one for the people.
Ooh,
the story that you're telling around dinner.
Yeah, surely like Gary Busey did something, right?
Yeah, well,
too soon.
Well, so Harvey Weinstein used to come in, and because he used to, like, this was way before Me Too and anything like that, and he would roll in with like he had like a whole entourage of assistants with him, and I remember it was always like a big deal when he came in.
Wow.
Trying to think of a good story. So when you start at an agency, you literally start in the mailroom, and like you have like a mailroom class, and from there you're called floaters. So like you'll fill in for an assistant if they like literally have to just like go be a human and like get lunch for an hour, have a doctor's appointment or whatever. And one day I was put on the reception desk, and those phones are just ringing off the hook, and it's really hard to keep up. And I think it was like towards the end of the day, so none of the other receptionists were there. Like it was just me. And even like clients, they all have to dial into this like main number. Mm-hmm. And like you answer the phone, like WME, and it'll be like Gary Busey for so-and-so, his agent. And you like quickly like dial their extension. Mm-hmm. I answer the phone, and she's like, Oprah for Ari. And I'm like, oh,
shit.
And then like another client came in. I put her on hold. I forget exactly what happened.
You put Oprah on hold?
Exactly. Why? I don't know. I was a 22-year-old idiot.
Yeah, power move. Dude, nobody who calls into WIP can ever get you angry at anything. You put Oprah on hold. Yeah. So all you trolls that call into WIP.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a mistake. And then the phones were really confusing. They're like these giant, like whatever you call it, like call center phones. And I couldn't figure out how to get her back. So eventually, I'm pretty sure 5 minutes passed by, and I finally pull her back, and she's like, Oprah for Ari, like screaming at me. I'm like, okay. I put her through. Ari Emanuel comes out like 10 minutes later, and is basically like reams me out. And he's like, why did you put Oprah on hold? I thought I was going to be fired. HR is getting involved. Oprah. It was a whole thing. So never put Oprah on hold.